Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Emma Borders and today I'm going to be teaching you how to play your very first scale on the mandolin. That is super exciting. If you are a complete beginner, don't know many scales or any scales, you don't know many chords or any chords, you don't have a whole lot of knowledge, but you're hoping to learn, this video is for you. Scales are a great place to start because they lay a great foundation for you to build off of. Scales are great for technique, they're great for theory, they're great for helping you learn the neck of the mandolin, for helping you know what notes are in all of the different keys. So stick with me because by the end of this video, you will be able to play a full 2-octave G major scale on the mandolin. Why I picked G major for us to learn first is because one, G major is one of the most commonly used keys for the mandolin, and second, because it just suits itself really well to this instrument and it's very easy to play. And if you're not very familiar with what major and what minor mean, then don't worry too much about it. Basically, all you need to know is that there are two different camps, and every tune, every song is either in the major camp or it's in the minor camp. And I like to tell people that major sounds very bright, very happy sounding. So this is our G major chord, right? It sounds very, very happy. And then minor is a little bit more sad and a little bit darker sounding. So this is our G minor chord. Yeah, all of a sudden it kind of sounds sad. So every song is either going to be major or minor. So in order to be able to play any major scale, there is a formula that we can follow. And this formula is made up of whole steps and half steps. If you don't know what those are, that's okay because I'm gonna explain it. I got you. So a whole step on the mandolin is actually 2 frets, okay? So we have, if we take our open D string, for instance, if we play that, a whole step above our D string would be 2 frets above. So we skip the first fret and we go right to our second fret. And that would be our E note. So we have D, E. And that is one whole step. Now, as you might be able to guess, a half step is just 1 fret. So if we were to go a half step above our open D string, we would just go 1 fret above. So open D, 1 fret above, that is a half step. So on the mandolin, every single fret moves in half steps. So if you find a random note just somewhere on the neck, for instance, if I was all the way up here, if I wanted to go a half step above, I just go 1 fret above. If I want to go a half step below, I just move 1 fret below. The formula for being able to figure out any major scale is this: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? And that is referring to whole steps and half steps. So I'll repeat that one more time. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that's something that you just kind of have to memorize. And don't worry, the more that you play scales, the more that you learn scales, it's going to become like second nature. But this little formula really helps you when you're first starting out. And this is what I use to help me figure out how to play major scales. Let's go ahead and grab our mandolins and start learning this major scale. Again, it's a G major scale. So we're going to start with our G note. That is what we call the root or the base of the scale. And that just means the note that we start with. So we're going to start with our open G. Okay, this is our first note. Okay, now from that formula, whole is the very first step that we have to take. So we know that we need to go a whole step above G to get to our next note. Okay, and as I said before, a whole step is 2 frets on the mandolin. So we have G, we're going to move up 2 frets. That's going to be our next note, G, A. Okay? So in the formula, whole, whole, our next step is going to be another whole step. So we're gonna go up 2 frets from the note that we were just playing. So here we go, this is our A. We're gonna go up another whole step. That's gonna give us our B note. Cool, we got our first 3 notes of our scale already. That's awesome. Okay, so we have whole, whole, half. Now we just have to go up 1 fret. So let's play all of those notes together. That's the first part of our G major scale. Now, if we continue with this formula, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So if we are on the 5th fret on our G string, which is also our C note, our next open string is a whole step away from that 5th fret. And that's something you can also memorize, because if we go up a whole step from this 5th fret on the same string, which is the 7th fret, that's the same note as our next open string. Okay, so 5th fret, we go up a whole step. Now we get to our next open string. We have another whole step. So 2 frets above. Okay, another whole step, 2 frets above. And then the very last step is a half step, 1 fret above. Okay? So let's play that all really slowly from the very beginning, starting from our open G string. Yay! Okay, so actually that is a G major scale. Look at you, you can already play a G major scale. So that is what we call 1 octave. That is from G all the way to G again. And that is 8 notes, which is where we get the term octave. So that is 8 notes, that's 1 octave, but for this video, I'm gonna teach you the 2 octave G major scale. So we're gonna learn 1 more octave, and we're gonna start where we left off. So we're gonna start on this 5th fret on the D string, okay? And we're gonna do the next octave. So we're gonna start over with that formula. So whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Here we go. 5th fret, G, we're gonna go up a whole step, which gives us our next open string. Okay, we go up another whole step, we go up a half step. Cool, now we've got 3 wholes, 1 more half. So whole, next open string, whole, 1 more whole, and then the last one is half. And look at that, that's your 2nd octave. So let's play that 2nd octave together. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so now let's put both of those together to make our full 2 octave G major scale. Okay, that is awesome. Now you can also go back down the scale just the exact same way that we came up. Well, you now know how to play a full 2 octave G major scale on the mandolin. Congratulations, that is a big step. And as I said before, this scale is super, super helpful, and I guarantee you that you are going to use it in your future if you continue on the mandolin. Again, because G is one of the most common keys that we hear and that we see tunes in on the mandolin. So it's definitely gonna come in handy. Now, I just wanna give you a couple quick rapid fire tips for this scale as you're playing it. The first tip is to make sure that you are on the very tips of your fingers. Okay, we want to be able to get good tone as we're playing. So you want to make sure that when your finger is going down on the string, it's going right on the tip. Okay, the second tip is that we have to make sure that we're pressing the string all the way down in order that we get a good clear sound and that there's no buzzing. And on the mandolin, that's a little bit difficult, right? Because we have two strings that we're having to press down, but the more you do it, you will build up stamina in your fingers and it won't hurt nearly as much as it might right now. Okay, the third tip is that when you put your fingers down on the frets, you want to be right behind the fret, okay? So the closer you are to the fret, the clearer your sound is going to be. So for instance, if I'm putting down my first finger on the second fret, I want to be right next to that second fret to get the best tone. The fourth tip is that we want to make sure that we have a space back here when we are putting our fingers down. So you want to make sure that there is a nice space between your hand and between your neck. And we also want to make sure that this joint of our hand stays touching the mandolin, okay? So we're not coming out in front and reaching over. This knuckle, this joint is touching where our mandolin is, and we're reaching our fingers over. Sometimes you might have a tendency to collapse your wrist as you're playing and as you're trying to reach, but that's actually going to make it much more difficult for you to reach the notes that we're trying to reach. So don't do that. Keep your wrist nice and straight and just reach your fingers over. Okay, the very last tip that I'm going to give you real quick before we end this video is that make sure with your pick, and I know this video isn't really about the pick hand. I do have a whole separate video about the right hand technique. If you are interested in that, I'll put the link down below. But we want to make sure that we are doing back and forth pick strokes, pick directions as we're playing this scale. I see a lot of people play down, 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 down. And for the mandolin, that's not what we want to do. We actually want to go back and forth every single note. So as we're playing this scale, it's always down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, all the way through it. But yes, hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. That really helps me out. And if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to put those down below in the comment section and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.